Molweni, guys. Good morning. Yay! I'm so exhausted of this. Yo, Sarah, hopefully this is the last time I speak about Afriforum and their shenanigans, because this is one of the things that upsets me the most in South Africa, if not the thing that is upsetting me these days. And in this video, you're going to be looking at how this is bad for their own children. When I say their own children, I'm talking about pro-Afriforum people, parents, because this thing is not good for them, for their children the most. And number two, we're going to be looking at South Africans, white South Africans, that make me so happy to be a South African right now. And also, I would like to say to the people of Afriforum, please leave our children alone with your backwardness. Please leave our children alone. And when I say our children, I'm talking about even white children, pro-Afrikaner children, because they are innocent in this whole thing, and they are the adults who are missing the spoils of apartheid that they enjoyed, and they want to drag the children down that lane. Yay, guys! Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Child, this whole thing is horrible. And the people that are running it, they are so sure of it, and their supporters, you see their comments and stuff like that. It's like, don't you see how this is dangerous even for you? Because they've put their propping Trump up like, is this savior? I don't know. When they look at Trump, what do they see? I don't know. They are long lost ancestor that is coming to save them from only them know what. Anyway, guys, let us first look at what I wanted to bring to you, that this is dangerous for their own children. Africa is rising, child. Africa is up on her feet, and there is no turning back. As South Africa as well is not going to be left behind. We are part of this African continent, and we are one of the biggest economies. You best believe that we are part of that change. Africa is on her feet, and I'm loving it. That is why I love the leaders who are decisive. I love the leaders who are progressive. Hey guys, in South Africa we see the progressive parties that they say they are progressive, but somehow it's like they are not really in line with that progressiveness that they are pushing. But you see, in Upper Africa, so to speak, we are seeing evidence, child. We are seeing evidence. And you see, that thing is only spreading all across Africa, right? So what I'm saying is, the actions of Afriforum, they are definitely passing that to their own children. They are passing it on. And there is no future for that kind of thinking in this Africa that we are in, that will make their own children feel like they don't belong. Hey guys, hey. The people that are clapping hands for Afriforum's actions, I feel sorry for them, because you cannot be isolated. And that Cape Town that they want to take and be their own country, their own mini country, that thing, we forbid it with all the feet. We forbid it with everything that we have. It's not going to happen. It will never flourish. That idea, it will remain a pipe dream until. So, as I'm moving forward on this, so if you teach your children such a thing, why are you expecting them to leave? Because you already said, Trump said, come over, be refugees. America is open for you. And you said you don't want to go there. You want to live in South Africa because you love this country. You belong here and you want to raise your children here. You don't want your children to be moving all around, which is fair because their children didn't create this Afriforum. So now, why are you teaching your children these ways? Because whatever you believe, you pass it on to your children. Where are they going to live in an Africa that is changing? Guys, all right, moving right along, I'm going to share a clip with you. Before I do that, I want to tell Afriforum that please leave our children alone with your backwardness. Hey, when I say leave our children alone with your backwardness, I'm talking about even your own children, your Afriforum children, because they are innocent in this whole thing, but you're busy instilling your poison in them I don't know what to tell your children, because definitely if you believe in something, you're passing it on to them. That is how it is. You're passing it on and they'll have no place in the future. But I just want to show you how our children are happy when there are no adults to say they are being abused in South Africa. Hey, you know what is beautiful is that your children are friends with our children in school, and they get to experience the life away from your backward beliefs and all of that. They just enjoy and be themselves and be children amongst other African children. So this thing that Afriforum is pushing, it has no place in the future. It has no place in the future. Please.
Yes, with your mouth. With your mouth. Things going down, we go south. We go south. There's a lady, her name Felicia. Felicia. She's really hot. Uya she's. 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 You talk a lot of nonsense with your mouth. With your mouth. Things going down, we go south. We go south. There's a lady, her name Felicia. Felicia. Uya she's. 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 You talk a lot of nonsense with your mouth. With your mouth. Things going down, we go south. We go south. There's a lady, her name Felicia. Uya she's. 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 Uya she's.
Yo, our children are so happy when they are all by themselves. Did you see that? You know, they just have fun, innocent fun. You know, they have such a bright future. They are so happy with no vile adults in their midst. Did you see that? And when you see that, do you think there's a future for things that are being pushed by Afriforum? Guys, hey, so anyway, guys, let us look at white people that make me so super happy to be a South African. You know, those make me super. You have to hear what they want to say. You just have to hear this. You just have to. And after all, the people that are pro Afriforum, that are members of Afriforum, they are around 600,000, and Africa is way too big. Is way too big. These are just the small fraction of people that miss the spoils of apartheid, where black people didn't feel like they were human enough to be respected and to be doing unbelievable things, to be doing exceptional things. Now that we are here, this is a group of people that are not happy. They want to keep the things of the past. They have no place in the future, child. That place, they don't. Anyway, let us look at the white people that make me super happy to be a South African. And I know these people upset those that are pro-Afriforum.
I got this comment, actually it's not the first one, there was a couple of them, but it comes down to the same thing. What's your take on Afriforum, sir? Please give your honest opinion. Everything, first of all, that I do on TikTok and I say is honestly what I think and what I feel. Okay, we live in a country, we are supposedly supposed to have a democracy. Now, in a country where you have democracy, you cannot have an organization that only caters for one specific group of people. A democracy is supposed to be... Sorry, I can't stand still while I'm talking. Democracy is supposed to be by the people, for the people. Nowhere does it say by the people for certain colors. So, Afriforum is an organization that only caters for white South African farmers. You cannot have that in a democracy. This land cannot move forward if we keep being stuck on color. We are supposed to see other South Africans as human beings and not black, white, green, yellow, orange, purple, name what color you want. We are supposed to be one country with South African citizens, and to have organizations that only fight for specific groups of people is just bringing more divide in the country, and that is what we must try and fix. We must try and fix this dividing thing going on here, because it can't work. It cannot work. It's impossible. Afriforum is not, unfortunately, the only organization that fights only for the rights of a specific group of people. And the moment we start fixing that and seeing fellow South Africans as human beings and not by the color of their skin, then we can only start to move forward in this country. I just want to make one thing clear. I'm just a normal South African, born and raised in South Africa. Grade 12. I didn't go to university. I didn't go to college. Regarding politics, I'm still also learning like anyone else. But the things that I say on TikTok is things that come from my mind. And I think there's nothing wrong with my mind. And I think things I say is the way I see them. Now, we might all differ. I'm not saying what I'm saying is right and what you are saying is wrong. But I just wanted you people to know that. As for this question, Afriforum is an organization that only helps white South African farmers. That is wrong. You cannot have that in a democracy. We are supposed to help each other as fellow South Africans, fellow human beings, and not certain race colors. That is why this country can't move forward, because of something like that. I hope I've answered your question. Please let me know. Enjoy the rest of your day. Today is a very nice...
I've lived in 5 different countries in Africa. I've lived in Malawi, Botswana, Zambia, Morocco, and Nigeria. I've also travelled extensively in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Egypt. Never once in all my years of living or travelling on the African continent have I been mistreated in any way because of my ethnicity, because of my skin colour. And this is in spite of the fact that I come from a country who are guilty for some of the worst colonial crimes ever inflicted throughout human history. That's right, I was born in Great Britain. And without doubt, the British and the French committed the greatest atrocities across the continent of Africa. The Belgians have a good claim for the greatest atrocity in their treatment of the Congolese, but if one looks at it as an entity and the number of countries that were invaded by the British and French colonialists, one will see that they are the worst protagonists. Despite this, and despite the behaviour of my ancestors, I have never been mistreated. In fact, I have been welcomed warmly in all of the countries I have lived in or visited. And when in Africa, I don't cocoon myself in some enclave dome which is inhabited by people who like to refer to themselves as expats. I hate that term. But no, I integrate as much as possible within local society. I will go to the shebeen. I will go to any compound and experience life as it is for people in the country where I am based. So whether that's in the village, whether it's in the township, whether it's in the local bar, I will integrate, I will mix, and I am always made welcome. Now contrast that with the way many Africans are treated when they choose to live in the United Kingdom or France or other parts of Europe. The difference is incredible. The everyday racism experienced by African people on the European continent is a crime against humanity. Now, there are different types of racism. The most obvious is the day-to-day experience that an African will have whilst living in parts of Europe. The name-calling, the staring, the subtle discrimination. And for many Africans, they will just brush it off because it is so common that they just get used to it, sadly. Worse, though, is the institutional and structural racism that Africans have to abide with. The restrictions on their movements. The fact that most passports emulating from the African continent will only allow Africans to travel visa-free to a handful of countries. And most of those will be other African countries or countries in the Caribbean. And moreover, the difficulty that Africans have finding work in Europe is unimaginable. People who are qualified as doctors, accountants, lawyers, university lecturers, nurses, teachers do not have their qualifications and experiences recognized by most European countries. I know many people from Africa working in various parts of Europe as security guards or as care assistants when back home they had highly skilled professional jobs. But that experience is rarely recognized when they come to Europe unless they come as part of a transfer with an existing company. But if they come because they've migrated to Europe, their chances of accessing the sort of job which they are eminently capable of is slim. Now, if a black person was making this video, they would be quickly dismissed. They'd be dismissed as having an axe to grind or always trying to find problems. And again, that's part of racism. The fact that I can speak because of my white privilege means that I have a duty to do so, not because I'm married to an African woman or because I have many African friends, but because I like to think I'm a decent human being who appreciates the value in every person on our planet.
Good morning from beautiful rural South Africa. Since Afriforum yesterday pointed out that the South African Police Service's latest statistics on farm murders were incredibly skewed, we've obviously had a number of responses regarding the issue. Now, apart from the usual hatred and blaming us of inciting fear, there were some interesting responses. One of them was that perhaps there's a discrepancy in the numbers because Afriforum uses a different definition of a farm attack than what the South African Police Service uses. That's a pretty sensible option. The only problem there is that when we do our research and we keep track of farm attacks, we use the South African Police Service's very own definition of a farm attack as compiled in their rural safety strategy. So if we're using a different definition of a farm attack than the South African Police Service is using, and we're using their own, then what on earth are they using?
And that's all I wanted to say, guys. That's all. Hopefully this is the last time I speak about Afriforum, Kosiam. Hopefully. All I wanted to say, most importantly, like, leave our children alone, please. Leave our children alone. Did you see how happy they are when they're all alone and there is no adult with a very stoned heart like that? Please leave the children alone. Yo, guys, these people have a bright future ahead of them. Please leave them alone. Imagine, did you see those teenagers? Those are our babies. Those are our babies having the great time with themselves. Anyway, guys, do have a beautiful day if you watched up to here. And the next time you bump into my videos, kindly watch all the ads in full. It really goes a long way. To those who are already doing so, ndiyabulela kakhulu, guys. Ndibamba ngazo zozibini izandla ndithi enkosi.